Huh?
That's it? Thank you.
Thank
you so much. That's all. Good luck when you're...
I try to get it so it's aiming at me for the most part.
Oh,
Okay.
I should have smiled. Oh, you didn't smile? No, because he told me to not. You'll be the odd one out.
That's okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Muss ich kann dann schon irgendwann mal Essen warm machen.
It's going to take about 5 minutes.
Okay.
You can grab this thing off the front table, that way I'm not like...
Das läuft, weißt du das?
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Is it good?
Yep.
Alright. If you ever have the chance to visit a foreign country, be sure to take the opportunity. Hello, my name is Kevin Torr, and today I'm going to be telling you about my 3-month business trip to Germany. As a young child, my father received a new job position, and we moved over here to the United States. Due to the very expensive flights and a lack of time, we don't get to go over to Germany as much as we would like. So when my employer asked me if I wanted to go to Germany for 3 months of training, I accepted right away. So on February 14th, 2014, I packed my bags and left for Germany. While on my trip in Germany, I got to experience a whole new working environment. I got to see my first ever Bundesliga soccer game, and I also went to the Auschwitz concentration camp. So let me begin to tell you about the main point of my trip, which was work. When I first arrived at Schuler Göppingen, I was really nervous. I was sent to work in the Ausbildungscenter where all the other training kids were sent. I was afraid that my German wasn't good enough and that I wouldn't be able to comprehend all the material that they were trying to teach me. But very much to my surprise, everybody was very kind and they helped me with any problems I may have had. When my time ended at the Ausbildungscenter, I went over to the assembly area where they put together and built all the coining presses. I thought this environment was a lot more enjoyable because rather than being more of a classroom environment, it was more of a hands-on training. It was also very cool because I got to meet a lot of the older guys that my dad, who he previously trained with, I got to meet them and then they got to teach me a lot of things along the way. The main guy I was sent to work with, though, his name was Philip. And Philip, he was my age, and he just finished his training a year before. Over the course of the few weeks I was there, me and Philip built a really strong friendship that we still keep in touch to this day. I even got the privilege of working with Philip a few times here in the United States. When the work weeks were over, my cousin Sasha and I went on very many short trips. The first trip included going to a Bundesliga soccer game at Dortmund. It was my first time ever going to a Bundesliga soccer game, so I was really excited. Just pulling up to the stadium already, you got to see the atmosphere from all the fans singing, and it got me really excited. Our seats were directly behind the goal, completely across from where the where the season ticket holders were, so you got to experience the whole atmosphere of them directly in front of us. A few guys from England actually sat right next to me, and they also agreed with me that this was an amazing atmosphere. It was one of the best that they ever seen in their life. Dortmund went on to win the game 3-0, which made the 6-hour drive down to Göppingen, Germany a lot more enjoyable. Even though the Dortmund game was really exciting, the most memorable part of my trip was going to Auschwitz in Poland. My cousin and I always talked about making a trip down there next time I'd come to Germany. The previous year we went to Dachau, but a lot of the buildings were torn down and you didn't get the full experience out of it. So over the long Easter weekend, we took the 12-hour drive over to Poland to see the concentration camp. We went to Auschwitz-Birkenau early in the morning, and there was a really foggy morning, and it really set the mood of the whole trip. The camp was huge, so it took over 3 hours just to walk around the perimeter and go in a few buildings here and there. When we traveled over to the second part of Auschwitz, we went through with a tour guide. And the tour guide, she showed us all the different little museums that they put within this concentration camp. A lot of the buildings contained confiscated items and a lot of pictures and everything going on from back then. gave me a very good perspective on how truly horrible everything was back then. So in conclusion, despite this trip being primarily for work, I really much enjoyed it. I got to learn a lot about my career field that I didn't previously know while gaining friendships along the way. I also got to witness the amazing atmosphere of a Bundesliga soccer game at Dortmund. And lastly, my trip to Auschwitz gave me a whole new perspective on how everything happened, and I also learned a lot about Auschwitz along the way. So in conclusion, this was a very great experience. I hope in the near future I get to experience something like this again. Thank you.